Welcome in, Iowa Hawkeye fans, to another episode of the Hawkeye Tailgate Report. This one's a little more special. The Hawkeyes took care of Iowa State in Ames through 2 rain delays. We got a full cast of characters here tonight. Joey Myers, Austin Myers, and Sam Middleton. Fellas, we're 3-0. How about that game?
Let's go.
I was
10 years.
Yeah. Never a worry in my mind. Fully confident throughout the entire thing. I knew Iowa State was going to do something stupid like they did and blow the game. Iowa by a million, always.
You know how confident I was Iowa was going to lose that game? I bet all the money in my William Hill sports betting account on Iowa State straight up in the middle of the game.
Yikes.
You're an idiot.
It was a win-win.
Well, I mean...
Yeah.
But then you're still out that money. So, who's the real winner?
Now you're out 48 cents.
Yeah. So, our guy, Joey Myers, let's see if he remembers this one this week, because I was there and he was paying attention throughout the whole thing. He even got involved in a little mosh pit when Nate Stanley rushed it up the middle for a touchdown.
Yes, I did, Luke. I remembered the whole thing. I paid good attention.
All right. So,
congratulations.
If you didn't miss, or if you didn't watch it, if you've been in a cave, if you have no social media, the Hawkeyes looked not great the entire game, while Iowa State looked better than Iowa. I'll say it. They looked better in Iowa, but they were playing on their home field. They had their home crowd behind them. But leave it to the Cyclones to screw it up for themselves and muff a punt. And is it Devontae Young fell on the punt? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And the Hawkeyes recovered. Hawkeyes win. Nate Stanley kneel down in Ames. Just a great thing to see.
You know what, Luke? I don't think they actually played better than Iowa. Due to the fact that I paid attention, I witnessed 2 particular plays that I think they looked better than Iowa. Other than that, I think both teams were equally bad. I think it was just kind of a shit show in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. Take away Iowa State's the trick play touchdown and then the miscue in the secondary and that 73-yard passing touchdown, and they were a very mediocre team out there. And obviously you can't take it away from them that they got those big plays to hit on us, but that was basically all of their offense for the entire game. And I'll give it to them that between Iowa's 20 or between their 20 and Iowa's 40, they moved the ball pretty well. But that's the type of defense that Iowa typically plays. Bend, don't break. As soon as they got into areas where they could have scored, Iowa shut them down. I think Iowa State had 5 drives that went into Iowa territory, and none of them resulted in points for them. So that's a testament to once you get into Iowa's side of the field, their defense gets much more stout than it normally is, and I don't think that they looked better than us outside of 2 plays.
The only thing that Iowa State did better than Iowa on Saturday is coaching. Well, to an extent, I guess.
Which, yeah, that's ironic. That's ironic that you say
management.
that, too, because Kirk Herbstreit gave his Best Coaching Job of the Week award to Kirk Ferentz. I just saw that on
Well,
Twitter.
Kirk Herbstreit did not watch the game.
Yeah, no, he was in
then,
Syracuse.
As far as, they didn't look better. I mean, Brock Purdy was hitting these 10-yard outs every 5 times in a row, and that's because we were giving it to him. That's the thing that frustrates me the most about Phil.
Yeah.
He's way too stubborn in his concepts and he got burnt twice, and he's still. You see DJ Johnson at the top of the screen with a 12-yard cushion on a wide receiver. Just about drives you crazy.
Yeah, well, and you said it right there. You're giving up 10, 15 yards on a pass play, and they did it basically throughout the whole game. They were able to move the ball across midfield pretty much. There was a ton of drives where they did that. But Phil never brought pressure, never once. Towards the end, he started pushing the cause just a little bit, but it wasn't like stuff you saw in week 2 against Rutgers where they would bring Epi on a stunt in the middle or something. He didn't really do any of that throughout the whole game. And, I mean, the game was very much in doubt there for a long, long time, 3/4 of the game. I don't know what the game plan was there, but it didn't seem too effective for most of it.
I think that giving up those 10-yard underneath or across the middle passing routes, though, was kind of by design or maybe by necessity just because of our injury situation with our secondary just being so decimated. I think 4 of our top 6 cornerbacks or safeties were not playing this week. And especially after they hit those 2 big plays earlier in the game, I think we kind of reverted to the type of mindset where we'll let you have the underneath. We're not going to get beat over the top again. So that's kind of the type of defense that we played. And I mean, like I said, they were able to move the ball until about Iowa's 40 or 35-yard line, and then we shut them down, and they had 5 possessions that ended up in Iowa territory that resulted in no point scoring. So I think that part of it was our personnel that we had on the field, and part of it was just that happened to be the game plan based on, who we had available at the time.
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating to watch throughout the whole game, though, Iowa State just rip off those chunk plays. But typical Iowa fashion, bend but don't break defense. Ultimately, it paid off in the end, aside from the 2 huge plays. And, boy, you could tell Iowa State really, you obviously want to win this game for bragging rights, but Iowa State came out guns blazing right away. First drive with the trick play, got our whole defense to bite on it. And then, of course, Matt Campbell cocking off on the sideline, pulling up his pants, putting his playbook down his pants, and then saying, what was it he said?
I think they're pretty smart.
Yeah, he stared down the Iowa sideline and said, they think they're so fucking smart. But he said it. What? Hey, that was a quote.
Yeah, and then he came out today and said something like, who do they play this week? Iowa State?
Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, he said Louisiana Monroe is like the most talented or athletic team we'll see this season. Just a complete jab at Iowa because they can't beat us ever. Completely unnecessary. Matt Campbell's a crybaby. He's no Kirk Ferentz, so
Nobody is.
Nobody is.
Dean of college football.
Yeah, the dean of college football. But moving on, I got a list of notes here I actually want to talk about. This one's just completely random. After the limited playing time that Ivory Kelly Martin saw in the first couple weeks, he was out there for the first drive of the game. Can somebody try and explain that to me?
Yeah, it's all about matchups. Iowa State's defense is too fast for Torn Young. That's why we didn't see him much.
Well, do you think Tyler Goodson would... I would rather have Tyler Goodson out there than Ivory Kelly Martin at this point.
Well, who would you want pass protecting? Tyler Goodson or Ivory Kelly Martin?
I think with the carries that Kelly Martin got, I thought he did a decent job. Yeah, I was surprised to see him out there starting, but I don't think that he was a detriment to the team at all. I think he did a pretty good job.
I was just so confused by it though, because I feel for your pass blocking question, Sam, Sargent's a fine pass blocker. He was hurt.
Yeah, he hurt his right wrist pretty early in the game. That's why they ran to the left side with him all the time.
Before the game, he was questionable before the game started.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't know that. That'd have been nice to know, but
some Iowa fan you are.
Yeah, sorry,
Yikes.
I was zoned in.
Who leads this podcast?
Hey, lay off, guy. All right. So another note I noticed from the first quarter, I think it was it Iowa? Yeah, it was Iowa's first drive of the game. They get all the way down inside the 10-yard line, and they kick the field goal on 4th and 1.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That was a terrible call.
That was a pretty soft move, especially you've got Stanley under center. He's like 6'4", 240. If you're telling me that him QB sneaking it with Brady Ross pushing him from the back isn't enough to get 1 yard, it wasn't even a full yard. It was like less than a yard at that point. Go for it. If you don't get it, worst case scenario, they're backed up at their own 3-yard line. You rely on your defense to make some plays. That was a very soft call.
Well, yeah, and we were so bad on 3rd and short throughout that whole game on Saturday. We were very bad, which because we would try to get too fancy with it. Put Nate Stanley's big ass under center, let the big thugs up front push for you, and then have Brady Ross just ram Stanley in the back. Get the first down. It works so well. It works so well on the touchdown sneak. I just don't know why we don't call that all the time because we consistently rip off 2 to 3 yards every time we run it.
Hold on, mid stream rant here.
Yep.
Biggest gripe with Iowa football: 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. We run it off tackle every time. No idea why we don't just QB sneak it. It is literally 100% success rate. I've never seen us QB sneak and get stuff. Never, not once.
Yeah, it's like
it's the most frustrating thing.
It's like
not rocket science.
Tom Brady out there for the Patriots. Brady never gets stopped, and they keep running it when they're in short yardage situations. So that maybe makes you think, hey, let's keep dialing this play up because there's no way the clowns on the other side of the ball are going to be able to stop our huge lineman, our big fullback, and our huge quarterback. It's just
or like when we tried the Penn State play that like backed up in our own inside our own 10 with the Stanley faking it and then was going to lob it to a tight end.
Yeah.
But then he got knocked down. The ball got knocked down because it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, we were just way overthinking our 3rd and short scenarios. How many, like, a lot of times they were, like, tossing it to a running back towards, like, in the backfield towards the short side of the field. Like, I just don't understand it. As Iowa, your whole kind of mantra is offensive linemen, like, power running. Just send somebody straight up the middle and pick up 1 yard. That was my biggest gripe with the game is our 3rd and short play calling was just, it made no sense to me. We were trying to get way too cute with it when at the end of the day, just stuff it up the middle for 1 or 2 yards and get your fresh set of downs and then try and get fancy.
Or like, even with the speed that Goodson has, I'd rather have a toss to the outside than having to run back a couple yards, give it to your running back, and have him try and break through some big defenders. Honestly, I'd rather have that happen because Goodson can get that corner in a 1 yard situation, and I have zero doubt in my mind that is the case.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But also, go ahead, Joey.
So say back to that opening drive too. I thought Stanley looked terrible. I think there was 3 passes. I think there was one down the middle that he missed big time. I believe to Brandon Smith that I think would have been a surefire touchdown, and then one on either side of the field. There was three bad passes that he made that I would love to see him make those passes more often.
I'm the biggest Nathan Stanley apologist there is, and I will say that was his 2nd worst game as a member of the Iowa Hawkeyes, right behind Penn State from last year. It was a tough game for him, but I mean, that had to have been a tough game to play in. I mean, you get warmed up from the game probably at like 2 o'clock, 2:30. You start the game at 3. About half an hour later, you get put in an hour-long rain delay. And then shortly after that, once the game starts again, you get put in a 2-hour rain delay.
I will say, though, that pass that he made on 3rd and 22 to Smith Marset was an elite pass. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that make that pass.
Yeah, that
was an NFL caliber pass. 3rd and 22, deep in our own
NFL
territory.
Can't even make that pass.
Yeah, if we look back on this season and Iowa has 10, God forbid 11 wins, that honestly could be the play of the year because that actually gave the offense life, something that hadn't really been cooking for the team in this game. So,
and that's the thing about Stanley too. He's got the ability to make throws like that, and he just needs to take away some of the bad and get a little more of the good, and he's going to be a star.
His arm talent is incredible, and his mental side, for the most part, is very good as well. It's physical mistakes on like easier passes that he just screws up on sometimes. That are, if he could just sharpen those, he could be a very, very good quarterback. Not just good, but great.
That dime he threw to Brandon Smith in the 3rd quarter that should have been caught. That was a nice ball.
That would have been touchdown pass. That was nice.
Another bad one though was the one where he was in a little bit of trouble, escaped it, and he kind of did have an awkward throw, but he threw back like towards Reganey and just missed him. There's nobody within 6 yards of him. That was a bad one.
It was a tough throw, but yeah, he should have hit that one. On the topic of Nate Stanley, I am a huge fan of the designed run calls for Stanley out of shotgun. You take 2 steps back, and then he starts going right up the left side.
He's the white Cam Newton.
I love it. It is like no team expects that from Iowa, let alone an Iowa offense that doesn't really like Stanley isn't exactly the fastest guy around. I mean, he's big and hard to bring down, but I love that play call.
Yeah, and that's the type of play call that for Iowa it can be very effective, like 3 to 4 times a game, because you don't do it often, and usually it's in longer yardage situations, and Iowa's not known for having a rushing quarterback, so then they drop back, 6 or 7 guys into coverage, and it leaves the middle of the field wide open. It's kind of that play where it catches them by surprise, but Iowa's been doing it enough that people should start to hone in on it a bit more, but it keeps working. I love the play call, too. It kind of reminds me of C.J. Beathard did that every now and then, too. He just, especially at Iowa State, what was it, 2015? He broke off a couple huge runs against them. Those runs gave me a little bit of C.J. Beathard flashbacks.
Yeah, and I mean, those guys aren't exactly the fastest, but they get going. It looks fast. You don't have to bring it down.
You don't want to be on the tracks when the train's coming through.
You guys are aware that Nate Stanley is faster than anybody that you know in your life, right?
I'd like to challenge Nate Stanley to a race.
Nate Stanley would smoke all of us.
I would like to challenge Nate Stanley.
I'm not saying I'm faster than Nate Stanley, but
I think that I probably have met somebody in my life or known somebody that could probably beat him in a race.
Somebody that you are still friends with.
We might.
None of them are faster than Nate Stanley.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of friends.
He probably runs a sub 540.
I don't know. I don't believe that. I mean, I guess we'll figure that out come February or March.
Iowa's going to hang 40 on Iowa State.
Hey, we got the win. That's all.
Also, the weather conditions really factored into that, because I think that had we not had that
really.
initial...
Both teams were throwing it all over the place.
Well, no. Hear me out. Let me make my point. I think that our first drive, even though it ended up in a field goal, it took like 7 minutes off the clock. Had we been able to get back out there right away without that 55-minute rain delay so their defense could get all rested up again, I think that we could have just been out there and really started to wear their defense down in terms of time of possession. And then by the second half, had we not had 3 hours of rain delays, I think they would have been gassed to the point where we could have started breaking off some real big plays and actually hanging some decent numbers on the board. But that rain delay came at a really good time for them, because their defense had just been out there for so long, and then they got a break to kind of reset and rethink their game plan and figure out how they're going to start attacking Iowa for the rest of the game.
That also brings up how much Ames sucks once again. Leave it to them to ruin a perfectly good rivalry game with horrible weather. I know it's not in their control, but I like to blame it on them, just because. I mean, if it was in Iowa City, game might get
would have been dry.
Game might have gotten played all the way through. So.
Definitely would have.
And also, one of our younger brother was in Iowa City or in Ames this weekend, and he almost immediately texted us on Saturday and said how much Ames sucks. He said it was boring. He said there was cops everywhere. One of his friends got a possession ticket almost immediately getting there. So yeah, Ames just blows. He slept in his car that night because he wanted to be able to leave as soon as he could in the morning. So, yeah, Ames just... Yeah.
Go ahead, Austin.
I was just going to say, sleeping in the car is a desperate move, because no matter what, it's not comfortable, and you can't sleep well, so you have to, very desperately want to get out of a place to sleep in your car to get the jump start on leaving in the morning, because I've done it a couple times, and it's miserable every single time. So that just is a testament to how much Ames does, in fact, blow.
Yep.
I'd like to bring up something that was a topic of conversation for the rain delays, and that is the students running onto the field and sliding around and stuff. What do you guys think of that?
Idiots. I thought it was such a joke. First of all, not only is it a dumb look, because for what reason are you doing that? And secondly, Iowa State is not a turf field. That's real grass they were out there tearing up. I cannot imagine that anybody on the Iowa State team or staff appreciated that, because the field conditions were already shaky at best, and then you have a bunch of idiots running around there, sliding around, tearing up the ground. That was some of the dumbest stuff I've seen in my entire life.
So at that point, I was refreshing Twitter every 3 seconds to get an update on the game. I was just sitting here bored, and that started popping up my feed. I was like, "What? Like, why? Like, are you serious?" I honestly couldn't believe it that was happening. Like, like I was listening to KX the other day, and Chris Williams said he was so pissed. Like, usually doesn't get mad about that kind of stuff, but he was so mad. I was like, "Wow, Chris and I agree on something." It was just incredibly stupid, and they should have kicked all those kids out, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, no
It was
kidding.
one of the most idiotic things that I've ever seen. Like, they have that little grass hillside that they could have been sliding down and doing whatever. That was fine. What would have possessed them to all just run onto the field? I just don't get it.
Boy, you guys are not going to love what I have to say about this.
Say it.
All right, initially I had the same reaction as all of you, like, wow, what a bunch of stupid idiots. And then I got to thinking, well, put myself in their shoes. They were all probably highly intoxicated, and they had been getting
Probably
rained
not
on.
at that
So,
point in time.
are you kidding me? This is 10 minutes into the game.
This was the second rain delay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, still, but you've
it
been
was,
drinking
like, towards
since
the end of it.
6 a.m. You're still intoxicated. Anyway, I'm just saying, Sam, you don't get after it hard enough from what I'm hearing.
You're right. Continue.
So you're sitting there half drunk, in some cases half baked, I'm sure, and then you're getting poured on. I'm just telling you, all it take for me is to see 1 or 3 kids go down there, and then I get the followers mentality, and I would just, I gotta say, I'd probably participate.
And I'd be bailing Joey out of jail later that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
No.
if you get me on that field, I'm taking a shit at midfield.
All right, so wrapping up this Iowa State game here. Are you happy with how it ended with like a muff punt?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Because
I
that's
couldn't
like
think of a better way.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Iowa State was going to march right down the field and kick a field goal on us and win. When
Do you know why?
When Nate Whiting did not go. Wait, Nate Whiting
Wu-Tang.
did not just fall down. That literally gifted them 40 seconds. I was like, "You have got." I was so mad. I knew we were going to lose.
That was such a dumb play call, because first of all, just run the ball no matter what, but then if you're going to throw that pass,
big side of the field.
Yeah,
like, they
don't
did it to
throw
the
it.
short side again.
exactly, do not throw that pass to the short side of the field. And Weeding should have went down before he went
That's
out
why
of
he's
bounds.
not on scholarship.
But also, he caught the ball like 2 yards from the sideline, so he didn't have a ton of room to work with. That was just such an ignorant play call. Just run it, not towards the sideline, burn 40 seconds off the clock. At best, they get the ball back with less than a minute with no timeouts. Obviously, it ended up working out, but that was such a stupid play call and such poor execution. I was so pissed.
Yeah, Kirk once again kind of screwed up the time management at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. But can't knock him for it. We got the win.
Clock in.
The only reason I'm not 100% satisfied is because I feel Iowa State fans have an excuse now as to why they couldn't beat us.
No.
No. They don't
Nothing
have an
we
excuse now because it was their own screw up.
And I
Literally, a
haven't
guy
even seen-
running
I
into
haven't
the
seen
punt.
Iowa State fans say anything about Iowa in regards to that. I just see that's the most Iowa State thing ever, and it's like
Mhm.
Yeah. If anything, it makes them feel worse about themselves.
I
And here's the-
seriously could not believe it happened. I was like
No.
looking for a flag or a review,
Yeah.
and then it's like, are you like seriously?
Or
Here's-
let's not overlook a huge moment in the game that took place like one Iowa State series before that.
Jack
When-
Garner knocking the ball down.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a good play too. But I was
thought
going
that's
to
what you were
say
going with. The two
DJ
flags.
Johnson pass interference that got called back because of the holding. I saw that happen, and I just laid face down on the floor for like 15 seconds because like we are not going to lose because of this. I was so pissed.
Well, I was mad because I didn't think it was PI, and then they showed the replay, and it was clearly pass interference. And then he's like, "There's 2 fouls in the play," and I was like, I perked up. I'm like, what? pass, and right when he said it, he would have said both on the defense. He didn't say that. I was like, replay the down. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Also, we should have taken the 10-yard penalty and made it 3rd and what?
22
23
or,
or
yeah.
20. Yeah, that was dumb in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's about to end on that. I'm glad they finally called a holding call because there was at least 2 plays before that where Epi was the first. I think it was the first quarter or first half for sure. There was one where Epi got past him and the guy just fell on his back, like literally tackled him, and they didn't call it.
Yeah,
there wasn't much holding on that play, so
no.
I tweeted.
But I'll take it.
I tweeted that and on the Epi play, and I actually had an Iowa State fan respond to me. Yep, I agree. That was a bad call. Like, but I'll give it to the officials. I enjoyed that game because the officials didn't really have that big of an effect on it. They weren't like blowing whistles like crazy or throwing flags, which was nice to see in a game like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate the refs not taking the game into their own hands, but also don't do that at the expense of just letting a bunch of other calls go. I mean, nobody wants to see a game slowed down because there's a bunch of penalties, but I'd rather there be the calls that there should be, and, maybe there be 1 or 2 that are questionable as opposed to, both teams just getting screwed over because the refs are missing real obvious stuff.
Yeah.
I now feel like this would be a good time to insert that I think the NCAA has the flags figured out a whole lot better than the NFL.
Oh, they do for sure.
Watch an NFL game and watch an NCAA game. It seems like there's a flag every other play in the NFL, and it drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just brutal to watch. Like yesterday, I watched the Vikings and the Packers, and obviously there was a couple calls that went against the Vikings, but it seemed like that game took forever because there were so many penalties. And the Iowa game, I mean, it took forever because of the rain delay, but other than that, it seemed to flow right along.
And on that topic, bit of a rant. The NFL just has no idea, what so many things are supposed to be in the league. They don't know what a roughing the passer is anymore. They don't know what pass interference is anymore. They don't know what a catch is. Pull your shit together, the NFL, because it's disappointing to watch. Did you guys see the way that Broncos-Bears game ended with that just atrocious roughing the passer penalty? That was just a normal quarterback hit. But yeah.
All right.
God, the NFL, they're just ridiculous in some things.
Right.
But sorry, we'll get back on topic.
Yeah, back to the Hawkeyes. We haven't even talked about the best player from Saturday's game. He has the biggest testicles. He's number 1 in our heart and number 1 on the field.
And he follows Sam on Twitter.
And the Hawkeye Tailgate Report, baby. Let's go. Keith, Big Nuts Duncan. My guy.
Joe Mama 2196.
What it do, baby?
I just want to get out in front of this and say I've been driving the Keith Duncan train since 2016. Racinos was great last year, but I was still pulling for Duncan before the season. And I saw a stat today that said there's 32 kickers in college football who haven't missed a kick yet this year, and Keith Duncan's one of them. There's 4 kickers who have kicked at least 8 field goals this year and made all of them, and Keith Duncan is one of those 4. Boys.
Let me share my opinion on Keith Duncan here.
Are you in love?
It's a weird love story. So the Michigan kick, right? Awesome. Complete luck. He even said in his interview after the game on Saturday how he was afraid to kick that year. Like he wasn't looking forward to it like he is this year. You could just tell the confidence. And that's why Racinos was a baller. Dude had a leg, and there's a reason he kicked over Duncan. But Duncan this year coming in with all the confidence now, didn't leave, stayed and worked hard, and now he is going to be Nate Kading level Hawkeye fans if he keeps it up.
That's that's the highest possible kicking standard.
Well, look what he's done already. He beat Michigan. He went 4 for 4.
He beat Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa
the
State.
Best Iowa State team, the most hyped Iowa State game. Well, that's 2 huge wins right there.
True. Yeah. I'm not going to dispute that.
Another win from Saturday was that due to the rain delay, the Nebraska game got put on the Fox Business Channel.
Oh yeah,
it would have been better if they were playing a bigger, somebody good.
No, either way.
But, no, back to Big Nuts here. I'm so excited that he's our kicker. I can remember years where Iowa Like, Marshall Kane had a huge leg, wasn't always consistent with his accuracy. The same went for Mike Meyer. Like, there's been guys over the years that you just don't know. Or, like, even Daniel Murray when he hit the game winner against Penn State in 08. Like, he wasn't 100% on the season. It's nice to have a kicker that we can kind of lean on when we need to.
Well, I mean, to be fair, holding a kicker
we've
to
never
the
missed a
standard
good
of...
kick. Like,
What was that, Sam?
I don't think we've ever missed, like, we always make those big kicks. Like, our kickers always come through.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I-
And after a performance like Keith Duncan's, it makes you appreciate good kicking just so much more because did you guys see how the Michigan State-Arizona State game ended?
Yeah.
What?
The guy missed that kick by 40 feet. It was
Did you see
so
that
bad.
video somebody tweeted out of him running onto the field?
Well, like,
Top 5 funniest thing I've ever seen in college football. I gotta find it.
I know what you're talking about. They're like, did
Yeah.
Michigan State fans honestly believe they were going to make that kick after they saw him run onto the field? I know exactly what you're talking about.
but, like, we've seen, like, Michigan State struggled, lost a game because of kicker this year. Nebraska doesn't actually have a kicker. Like, Scott Frost didn't recruit a kicker. So, like, teams are struggling because they don't have kickers. And we have one kicker who can absolutely nail them, and greatly appreciate it.
This reminds me, this is a good time to bring this up. Since there's no Urban Dictionary this week, it had been brought to my attention that I had to look on Wikipedia because we have some updated information on Ames, Iowa.
Ooh.
So, country, United States, state, Hawkeye, and they have a new mayor, Keith Duncan.
Nice.
It was only a
That's
matter
what
of
we love.
time. Only a matter of time before that happened.
Cool.
I put on Twitter earlier today that if anybody had questions or something they wanted us to talk about, that they should message us. And actually, one person did message us, so it's quite the improvement. However, it is kind of a joking question. It's from Bartholomew Hunt, Mike's brother.
Mike's brother, yeah.
Mike's brother. It says, "Hi, yes, Bart here. Was curious about the huge dump in Matt Campbell's pants. He seemed to make a remark to the visiting team's sideline. Is he or is he not a baby back bitch? I'll hang up and listen. Thanks. Thank you for the question, Bartholomew Hunt, Mike's brother. Well, I mean, I think it's clear to say he is a triple B, Matt Campbell. He is in fact Kirk Ferentz's son. So, yeah.
Did you guys see that game day sign that the one person made? And it was Kirk and Campbell's yearbook pictures. And Campbell's,
Yeah,
he's got
the guy.
like real greasy, like curly looking hair, terrible smile. And then Kirk is just there with a luscious mullet, and it said, "You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about." That made me laugh a lot. I tell you
There were
what.
some good game day signs.
Yeah, there was. I think Kirk should bring back the mullet because that would strike fear into every opposing team right from the get-go. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is the worst Avenger. That was good.
That's absurd.
No,
It's clearly not Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It's what's her face?
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Yeah.
Although, yeah.
my favorite sign was the one that said Brian Ferentz has a bush.
That made me giggle.
Those creative.
or the one that said Kirk Ferentz sniffs after he wipes or something like that.
That's pretty funny. I don't know if you guys saw the story, but there's actually something like good that came out of the game day signs. Some like college age Iowa State fan was standing there. He said like Busch Light supply is getting low or whatever, and then he put his Venmo on there, and he ended up getting like a couple $1,000 Venmo to him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Seriously?
so he decided that he's going to keep just enough to buy one 30-pack of Busch Light, and then he's going to donate the rest of it to the Children's Hospital, which is pretty cool.
Clearly, that guy grew up an Iowa Hawkeye fan and just goes to Iowa State for engineering or something. But good for that kid. You like to see that. But I got a stat from the game here from the other day. I'm not going to mention the guy's Twitter handle because I really, really do not like this guy. In the last 10 years in college football, teams that gained 7.7 yards per play or more, 7.7 yards per play or more, and allowed 4.3 yards per play or less were 498-2. Iowa State was one of those 2 losses on Saturday.
That's great.
That's just, I mean, I know the yards per play was inflated because the 2 big ones, but that's just a nice thing to see. That just them stepping on their own cranks one more time, you know? Really giving us the Cy-Hawk Trophy and the first rivalry trophy of the year.
Their own cranks.
How long did it take after that game was over for somebody to do one of the Titanic song edits of those 2 Iowa State players running into each other? Because it wasn't. Yeah, I was going to say it was not very long. I could watch that play on repeat for the rest of my life, and I would never get tired of it.
I still don't understand how it happened. I don't get it.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
I was totally waiting for a flag to come out. Even Dolph, listening to the radio call, that was the most anticlimactic call you'll ever hear for an exciting ending like that, because you could tell
Dolph needs to hang it up.
All right, Sam, that's enough from you. But Dolph thought there was going to be a flag thrown too, because every time you see something like that happen on the football field, you think, oh shit, here comes something. It's going to hurt our team, give them better field position, you know? But Podolak brought the life on that call, and yeah, it was just, I've never seen it. I'm a Vikings fan. I've seen the Minneapolis Miracle. That's probably right up there with that for the most exciting play I've seen on a football field.
Did anybody?
Go that far.
I don't know if it was worth listening to or not, but did any hear the Iowa State radio call of that play?
Yeah,
was it funny?
No, not really. They played on KXNO today. It was basically John Walters saying, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" Yep, and that's your ball game. It wasn't. It wasn't near as exciting as you would think it would be.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Sounds
a good radio call is just one of the better things in sports.
That's why we're Cubs fans. We like Pat Hughes.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up.
Get out the tape measure.
Didn't we?
Long gone.
Austin, bring it back.
Hey, come on.
This is a Minnesota Twins podcast.
Okay.
We had a shotgun bet of the week on the podcast last week, and did we all pick the Hawkeyes to win? Sam?
Yes. Yeah.
Did Sam?
Yeah. What?
Space Cowboy is the only one.
Oh,
that
Space
didn't.
Cowboy didn't. Oh, we're gonna have to get a video of that. Post it. Sorry, Sam. Sorry for blowing up on you. And a listener of the show, Jacob Baumhover, he's an Iowa State fan.
Yeah.
He owes us a video as well of him shotgunning a beer for shotgun bet of the week. So, you guys got any plans for next weekend? Looking ahead here, because it is one of our 2 bye weeks on the season. A very much
It's my
needed.
birthday. My Venmo is SAMMMIDD, and I'm trying to get a MacBook. Anything helps. Single dad here.
If you're a listener to the show, you hear that Sam's audio quality is off and shit. So this MacBook would help increase that. So if you do want to send him money, go for it. If not,
It helps you too. I mean,
Again, SAMMMIDD. I will return with feet pics if you're into that.
but we got thoughts from space this week, Austin.
Yes, we do.
All right, let's get those out here.
All right.
Kids, stop listening now.
Yes, kids, stop.
Yeah, just give me a second so I can get it pulled up here. Okay. Whew. This week's Thoughts from Space. So, no topics tonight, huh? Boss man is really slacking. Hope he doesn't turn his back and run us over. I've heard that doesn't end well. I just want to state that Iowa at full strength wins that game 24-3, but a W is a W. Biggest things. Iowa State played the classic bend, don't break defense. Well, so better not hear any more shit talking out of those cocksuckers' names about how boring the Big Ten is. Also, so much shit talking about Iowa replacing their turf this year, yet ISU makes teams play in standing water. You're not too good for turf. You can't even beat a defense with half the starters out. Kindergartners will start school next year having never seen the Cy-Hawk Trophy go to Ames. Now, let's take a couple of Now, let's take a couple of weeks, get guys healthy, and not pull out. Because, well, Ann Arbor is a whore. AJ and company better bring Plan B, because the Hawks are going to be called Daddy a lot in a few weeks. Final thought, Vikings, LOL, at Joey and Luke. Oh, final. You know those mini corns and stir fry and Chinese food? How the fuck do they make those? I throw mine away because I don't trust things I don't understand. But seriously, looking for a friend on this one. Those are the thoughts from space.
That's a great question. I've never thought of it. So
yeah, how do they grow that?
It's got to be from a different country, right?
It's the government. It's a conspiracy.
That's fair.
Have you guys seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Ooh,
man,
he's on to something.
It's been a minute. But
you know what? I know how we can figure out this. We're gonna have to storm Area 51 because that's definitely where they're growing that stuff. Who's in?
I'm out.
That's coming up here. It's on the 20th.
Yeah.
We got 4 days.
That got canceled.
Let's make a trip to the desert.
That got canceled.
That's what they. Yeah. That's what the government wants us to.
Want you to think.
Yeah, Joey's already bought into their propaganda.
You know what? Fine, go Austin. Go get shot. See if I care.
One final note. What does this Iowa State team do for the team's confidence, or this Iowa State game do for the team's confidence the rest of the year?
Nothing.
I think it's got to make it go up.
Shouldn't have done anything for it.
Really?
It was a take care of business kind of game. I mean, I think it gives them a little confidence that they can win a close game, maybe. But
I mean, realistically, though, they probably should have lost.
Yeah, and we're missing like 47 guys. Like I almost played.
I don't know. I guess maybe it doesn't shoot their confidence way up. I think that it helps their mental toughness a lot. Playing in a tough game like that, a super hostile road environment, conditions tough, having to be up and then down twice, almost 3 hours of delays. That'll really help, I think, build their mental toughness for the rest of the year, especially because we're going to be playing in some very difficult environments. At Michigan, at Wisconsin, at Nebraska. Those games you're not going to be able to win if you don't have a good mindset going into them. Okay, probably not at Nebraska, but at Wisconsin, at Michigan.
That game benefits Tyler Goodson and DJ Johnson more than anybody.
Ooh, speaking of Tyler Goodson, do you guys... I love that play where they threw that screen pass to him, and then he laid the wood to that Iowa State safety before he went out of bounds.
Player, yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Hey, the swagger that kid's got. His mom is also a great follow on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, she is. Felicia.
Yep.
Felicia Goodson. She's a good time. She was there the other night, actually. And wait, we should talk about this also. Tyler Cook being there front row wearing the Hawkeye basketball jersey and mouthing off.
I literally died watching that video. Like,
everybody behind him looked like they wanted to murder him, but none of them were going to say shit.
Yeah.
They all knew who he was. And which is fun. It's so funny he wore his own jersey. That's such a power move.
Yeah.
He was with Monte Morris, too, and...
Yep, Naz Long.
Yeah. But you guys got anything else for this episode? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, can you guys lobby for Tyler Cook to unblock me on Twitter? He blocked me because I talked shit about the Cardinals to him like 3 years ago. And
well, maybe that should teach you something, Sam, because I don't want to go and get our account blocked by him.
Well, don't get blocked. Just be like, yo, what up, dog? His DMs are open.
I'm not going to message him for you.
Loyal listeners to the show, please DM Tyler Cook and ask him to unblock me.
And then ask him to come on the podcast. All right. Anybody else? Any thoughts? 3,
Hawkeye State.
2. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Hawkeye Tailgate Report. Sam just said it. Hawkeye State. Iowa's 3-0. Got a bye week here. Middle Tennessee State next. And then we get to the real heart of the Big Ten play with at Michigan, home Penn State. So be ready. Get loud here real quick. October and November are going to be some fun months here in Iowa City. Make sure to pack Kinnick Stadium, pack Iowa City. But until next time, go follow our Hawkeye Tailgate Report Twitter page. That's at @go_Hawks Iowa. Follow my Twitter page at Myers_Luke. Follow Joey's Twitter page at JoeMama2196. Austin's is Myers Austin. And Sam Middleton's is at SAMMMIDD. Thanks for listening, guys. Go Hawks. It's a Hawkeye State.